Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to show with you guys. This is the Cold Steel FM-1 or Full Metal Atlas. This is a very, very good knife. I am happy with 99.9% of it. This was a very fun carry, a very fun experience for me to just sort of understand what they were doing with this. And I can also understand why many of you, and mainly one guy, was like, you need to get your hands on this. Completely understandable. This is going to end with me saying that this is an incredibly recommendable knife. I will link it down in the description. You can go with stonewashed or blackwashed. It does help my channel when you use those things, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to Knife Center for loaning this to me for review, as I go back when I'm done. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and make sure that your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. This is utilizing their new Atlas lock, which is incredibly strong. It is one of the strongest locking systems available on the market. It is incredibly trustworthy. They had it in development, I think probably while Andrew Demko was still but Demko created the Triad lock, which they still use on a lot of their knives. He's gone on to do his own thing. This Atlas lock operates similarly to Demko's new Shark lock. Not the same, and not, in my opinion, not quite as good, but still very, very good. In terms of strength and reliability, this is top tier. This is truly a pocket knife that somebody could buy. I mean, this rarely happens. Once you buy a knife in this tier, you're kind of screwed because you're going to buy a whole bunch of other stuff. But you could buy just this knife, and I bet it lives longer than you do. With the combination of materials and the locking system, I bet this thing remains fully functional and outlasts the person who buys it. This is that type of knife. So yes, it's going to be recommendable, but we're going to talk all about it. Let's go ahead and measure it here. So the overall length of the FM-1 is coming in at 8 inches, at least by my, okay, it's like 7.99. Blade length is about 3.5. Cutting edge is about 3 1/8. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. So up against the AD-10 and my own Excalibur, it's smaller and thinner, but it's not little. It's just a more compact knife. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3, which is, there it is. And it's about the same length as the PM2, a little shorter, but I think it's actually got a hair more cutting edge there. And then finally, we'll put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, and in this case, the Ritter Hogue. And then today, we're actually going to put it up against the Bugout, because this is definitely Cold Steel's Bugout. And it is better in every way. This is the most superior version of the Bugout. If you got so many options if you want to just do what Benchmade is doing here with the Bugout. There's so many options. There's so many budget options, like the Vekor. I actually have that knife right here. If you like the Bugout but you're on a budget, here you go. The Vekor is freaking $45 and it's awesome, and it's different enough that it's doing its own thing, right? It's got a little forward shoulder. That's great. But if you want the premium version, and you also want the thing to not fall apart after 10 years or 20, or in this case, 100. Oh my God, yeah. Bigger, feels more heavy duty. It's got a better locking system. I love the blade steel they're using, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go ahead and talk about carry profile. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. They managed to make a thin knife and still make it feel like a freaking Cold Steel. This is I don't know, man. It feels like an armored Corvette. That's kind of what it makes me think of. It's just it's nuts. It feels so heavy duty, but it doesn't feel incredibly heavy, and it doesn't feel cumbersome. It's just nice and compact. So yeah, carry profile up against the PM2 and Para 3. This is a stupidly easy knife to carry. Where are you? I'm just blind to the PM2. Unbelievably easy knife to carry, and it's thin enough that you could carry it in dress pants if you wanted to, or fitted pants, right? Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use in the channel. So we have a T8 for the pivot, which is awesome. And then unfortunately, we have T6. I believe that this is it's probably like a pinned construction for the housing for the Atlas lock. And then the other body screws are actually T6, which is unfortunate. Cold steel. Get rid of everything that utilizes, get rid of all T6 screws. T8 plus, please. But not really that big of a deal. Not a difficult thing to take apart. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and weigh it, and then I'm going to talk about the action real quick. This is titanium, and it is also S35VN, which I think is excellent. It's one of few blade steels on Earth that were actually made for pocket knives, and it's a very good blade steel. This weighs 3.8 ounces. I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. 3.5 inches of blade for 3.8 ounces of weight is pretty good. Balance is a little bit back, and it's understandable considering all the steel involved with the Atlas lock, and there's not a lot of weight in the blade, but it's not bad at all. The action on this guy is very, very good. Now, I love the deployment, and I also find it very easy to reverse flick this, right? The Atlas lock position, it's fine. I wish it was up a little higher, but the way that they do it, I get it, right? You pull back. This has got plenty of traction. I've just gotten used to really whipping it closed hard. And I said when I unboxed, I was like, man, I wish and by the way, I am recording this video before the unboxing even goes up. When the unboxing goes up, you guys are going to tell me why it gets caught right here. You're going to tell me. And I thought maybe this will smooth up a little bit over time, and it did. But you guys are gonna say it. I just want to point this out in this review. You can check the date on the pinned comment on this video will be before the date on the unboxing of this knife actually comes out. The unboxing was recorded way before this, but all of this has been pre-recorded before either of them goes public. Does that make sense? So I'm pointing out that I understand this before people will have an opportunity to tell me. So this isn't the end result of people telling me. I don't know why I'm going out of my way to explain this. I just am. It doesn't run on bearings. It runs on a combination of phosphor bronze and nylon, which I should have known. That's cold steel does that all the time. So knowing that now, I'm like, okay, well, now I understand why I have to whip it a little harder to get it to close all the way, right? And it's really pretty smooth. That's a small price to pay for a system that's going to do a really good job in dirtier environments. Could they have put bearings in it and it'd be fine? Sure, yeah. But this is a knife that is legitimately meant to be taken out and used. You can use this. All but using the tip to pry. Don't do that because that's stupid. And it's a pocket knife. Use a pry bar for that. Get a multi-tool. Multi-tools exist. There's no excuse to use your knife as a pry bar or screwdriver. I don't care what your grandpa said. I don't care what your dad said, your Uncle Larry. If they use pocket knives as screwdrivers and pry bars and hammers, they're using it incorrectly. That's it, right? No reason to pride yourself on that use. That's just dumb. Just use the right tool. But if you want to use this hard, like a pocket knife, oh my God, yeah. That locking system is going to hold up. Really, really good. But the pivot system is also going to assist you in dirty environments. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and move on here and talk about the meat and potatoes. Ergonomically, it's just a dream. It's a dream. Why no jimping, guys? Why no jimping? That's so weird. Whatever. Lock-in is great. It's ultra comfortable. Pocket clip, I wish they didn't do that freaking Civivi Loch Ness Monster Bill thing, but okay, whatever. You probably can get a number of different custom pocket clips that would fit this. The locking system is ambidextrous, and so is the pocket clip. That's great. Lefties, same exact experience. Same exact. I find myself closing it like this more often than I do holding it and whipping it closed. You really got to be careful. If you have your finger up here like this, you're going to cut a chunk off of your finger because you really do, to get past, the friction that's being created, or it's not friction, it is friction. The nylon and the phosphor bronze are just slowing it down a little bit versus bearings. So how hard you have to whip it, you got to make sure your finger's out of the way, right? And a lot of times I don't trust myself, so I just do this, and that's fine. I don't really care, right? It says Cold Steel Atlas back here, which is nice. It says FM-1 up there. I wouldn't really need to have the name of the knife on the knife. And then you have the Cold Steel paragraph up there, but it's not really that. It's not bad. All in all, I think everything's fine, except that I wish that they didn't put the FM-1 on there. Also like the stone washing. Cold Steel does a good job with their heat treatment, so nothing to worry about there. Factory edge is nice and sticky sharp. Nice tip there for sure. The blade stock thickness, I don't think we actually measured that, did we? Let's go ahead and do that. I bet that's 115 thousandths. Come on, you piece of junk. There we go. That's less than that. It's 107. Nice and thin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very straightforward. But as far as now, a lot of people are going to go, I've seen this knife a million times. It's not anything special. Like, they're not doing, they are. They are, because it's full titanium. It's not just the shape of it that we should be looking at here. It's the fact that this is combined with something like the Atlas lock. They have basically perfected this knife in the premium space, right? They never make a budget one. That's what they got to do. They got to make a budget one. Cold Steel use some. If they'd switch to something like 14C28N and make this with, G10 or whatever. Like, I don't like the AUS 10 or whatever that they use, but okay. Like, let's say they do that and then they charge you what? Like the same as some of those other light ones. Like if they charge you like 60 or 70 bucks, that'd be amazing. But they've perfected this in the premium space for sure. It could get better. A couple things could be better, like the jimping and stuff, but it's just stupidly good. This is such a capable and versatile pocket knife, especially with it being the size that it is. I mean it when I say, like, this is a knife that would pretty much like optimized for just about anybody, unless for some reason you just need a longer blade, right? But this is the type of knife that you can carry around and use. There's no omega springs in it. It's a coil spring, right? And it's completely enclosed within the Atlas lock. It's not like you can't even see it because it's within the housing for the Atlas lock. Like nothing save for dropping this in the ocean is going to stop this knife. As long as you use it like a knife, right? A knife doesn't need to be optimized for, stabbing into your car hood or, prying a door off of its hinges. It doesn't need to do that. It's just dumb. But nothing within the space of it being used as a knife is going to stop this thing. It's awesome. I love it. And it is so compact and lightweight and just able to be carried pretty much anywhere. I also like the little texturing here. And yes, it is enough to create traction. That's just nice. Everything feels and looks nice, and the fit and finish on it is just awesome. No blade play whatsoever. There's no lanyard hole. You have to use the pocket clip hole, which is fine. The stop pin is located right there. Just solid every time. Love that. No stick, no pivot lash, very smooth. Nice, actually, like what's creating the detent. Really good. Oh yeah, and the centering. It stayed centered the whole time. How much is this knife? 250 bucks. Is it worth it? Yes. Yes, it is. This is extremely worth it. This is an incredible product. Cold Steel just absolutely nailed it with this knife. It is wonderful. It is extremely recommendable to people looking to purchase a knife in this space. I think they need to make a version of it that does not have titanium scales. I know it's called the FM-1, meaning full metal, but I think they should make a version of it that is G10 so that they can charge less and then, keep the S35VN. Maybe, in the $150 territory, that would be absolutely incredible. And then they also need to do a budget version. I mean, I know that Cold Steel loves that AUS 10A stuff, but maybe they can use a different steel or whatever and make it like 70 or 80 bucks. I just think that would be incredible. But this is a wonderful pocket knife, and if you pick this up, you've made a good choice. This can be a one and done for some people. There are other options out there, and this is not an absolutely perfect knife. It's not absolutely the best in class. I think that they could make subtle improvements here and there. But this is an absolutely incredible choice. I mean, it is one of the best choices that you can make, I think, at the $250 price point. And it's made in Taiwan, not China. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, highly recommendable knife. It's going to go in my most recommended knives playlist. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.